One, and we're good. Birwood stands. Auggie Velarde. How are you, man?
I'm doing good. How you doing?
I'm doing all right, man. Just taking it slow, taking it easy. It's been a bit of a long day, but it's like what a way to cap it off by interviewing one of my personal favorite musicians. I can dig it.
Thank
I
you.
can
That
dig
means
it.
a lot. That's
Uh,
amazing.
s- so
Appreciate it.
tell the world a little bit about yourself. Like, who is Auggie Velarde? And if you can answer this question, what kind of music do you make? I feel like that's depending depending on the song. But yeah, just
Yeah.
tell the world a little bit about yourself.
Yeah. I mean, it's a hard question to answer really because I mean, I'm just a guy. Like I'm Augie, and I've I really like technology and computers. And actually ended up I work with like code, and I've been doing that. I was following that professional path for kind of like all my life. If you must know one thing about me, it's like kind of like I've had this desire, this passion to do music all my life, but then I come from a family of immigrants, so
Mm,
this whole time I've been pushed to follow a traditional path, if you know, being an engineer. And I don't get me wrong, I do like technology, which is why I chose that as a like professional path as well. And I do like I code and stuff like that, but I've always had this passion that like I want to do art, I want to do music. I don't want to be like, you know, stuck working. And there's nothing wrong, but like to me, and I tried it already, like being working in an office. But it's just
yeah.
like, you know, I like being able to explore my like self and what I'm feeling. And there's just something about art and expressing yourself that's just really special to me. And
Mm,
I tend to have like I just because of also like just me growing up with a lot of the things like tend to have like anxiety problems. So music is like a like an escape for me.
mm,
It helps me personally just be able to relax because I have
mm,
a hard time relaxing sometimes. Just like have a hard time kind of like being off of like I have to do this, I have to do this, I have to do this. But when I'm making and like in the process of making music, is like everything's kind of just forgotten.
mm,
So I mean, I'm just Augie. I'm just here, like, you know, like everyone else, like you and everyone watching. I'm just someone living life like in the journey that's my own. And yeah, just the things I've gone through life have led me to make the music that I make, which is all over the place because I have a super varied taste in music personally. I
mm,
don't feel like I need to categorize myself, or like limit myself to one thing. If I listen to so many different things. Like if I like hip hop, if I like electronic music, if I like the weird experimental songs that I listen to sometimes when I want to just like chill,
yeah.
then why not make a song that sounds like that, or a song that sounds like a mix of them? Or
Mm.
maybe today I'm just feeling like experimenting and making like a pop punk song that I did recently. So like,
Yeah,
why
you're
not? Like,
referring to White Bronco? Or
yeah,
like, yeah,
yeah,
word.
White Bronco. It's like
That's
pop punk
that's
kind of
hard.
vibe. Thank you.
Yeah,
Thank
so you spoke you touched a little bit on it about kind of how the process of music is like seemingly therapeutic, and I think that comes out in a lot of the content of the songs because a lot of it is like based around, or it seems to be based around like a romantic symbolism
you.
sometimes, so just talk a little bit about putting pen to paper and kind of like getting what's in here down there and still having it be a song and not like not like the internal screams that like we all feel inside,
Yeah, yeah. I always like either I produce as well. So I either produce music or I work with producers
Mm,
together, or I get like things sent to me and we work together. But I always focus on the music itself first because that's what inspires me.
mm,
I always have like all the thoughts and different ideas in terms of lyrics and in terms of what I want to say. And I have those like saved on my phone and like different, like I write down notes and I have a little notebook too. So I tap into those ones I already have, like I'm listening to a melody that's inspiring something. So for example, that's kind of just my personal process.
mm,
I'll be listening to this beat maybe that I made with someone, and um, I'm not. It's hard to explain. I just kind of just literally. It probably looks weird if someone's looking at me. Like I just doze off. You might think I'm like falling asleep, but I'm not. I'm just like vibing hard. And then I have a couple of mics, but I have a mic on my desk, which is the one I'm using right now to talk.
Mhm.
And I'll just hum to that and kind of like, I wouldn't say freestyle because a lot of it isn't like that much sense, but sometimes I don't know, the brain works in wonderful ways because sometimes a lot of my lyrics come out like I didn't change it. Like that part was a straight up like brain fart that became part of the song. It was a lyric. So I wouldn't say like
Wow.
if I were to get invited to any of those like freestyle radio shows, I would not do well because I would need to get like those sparks of like random things. I mean, who knows? If I practice enough, like I might be able to conquer that whenever that happens. But it's just honestly part of like I'm just like saying random stuff. Like, well, a lot of it makes no sense, but there's a lot of melody. What I can do on the spot is like I can like feel the melody over it, and then
Mm.
I like switch it up, and then I find words based on what I like what comes to mind after hearing a lot of times, or very rarely like magically the words come out with the lyric, like with the melody itself.
Yeah.
That's kind of like how I do it. Like I have a lot of things in mind, but then I feel it first, and then I kind of reach out like, oh, this would be perfect here, or it just comes out naturally.
Yeah, how I imagine that is just like just words floating in space, and then just like your
Yeah,
brain like grabbing like one or two words at a time, and then boom, you have a song, right?
yeah, exactly. It's just floating everywhere. It's like a lone little universe there of words and ideas and thoughts, and you never know. Like the music is what takes my consciousness to like a part where like I didn't even know I was thinking about that. But like
Mm.
sometimes I'll say words that I don't really use in day to day, but then like I'm like that fits perfectly, and that's actually a lot more formal than what I usually speak. But that sounds perfect, and like
Yeah, like this encyclopedia bar is hard right now.
yeah.
um and I know that you're bilingual,
Mm-hmm.
and which I think adds like so much more depth and like possibility to what an artist could do, especially when like transferring their like familial language to like English. I just think that like the music takes on a different meaning, and it may or may not gives you more kind of space to work within. So do you ever songwrite in Spanish, or
I
like?
do. Oh yeah, for sure. That's a
Yeah,
great point.
word.
I do. Yeah, sometimes. I mean, and I haven't released that much in Spanish, but I'm planning on doing more in like both languages. Either, like I said, I don't really, as long as like I have the ability to do things, I want to explore. So I don't want to limit myself to languages or like to genres. Like I've made like a Spanish song, and I've put in Spanish words before into like some songs,
For sure, yeah.
and I mean, it just kind of happens. Like I just like when I was writing Leave You, and
Mm.
I made that song with Hella Sketchy, rest in peace, my boy. Um he yeah, like the whole song was in English, but then like there's this part like I just felt this I just felt the Spanish talking to me, and like I just put the Spanish, there's like a Spanish section there.
Mm. Mm.
Yeah, it's like things like that. Like I write in Spanish every now and then. Sometimes I have ideas that are in Spanish, and it's just really hard to translate in English, which I do sometimes. Like I'm like I'm trying to make this in English, but you know what? Like there's no direct translation for this. Sometimes it's like
Mm.
it's just specific to a language.
And I know that, and the only reason that I know that you're bilingual was because I was doing a little bit of social media stalking, and I
Ah,
saw that RAC actually
yes.
listened to one of your Spanish remixes.
Yeah, yeah. So I made a remix for for him, and I also did one for Lito. They're both in Spanish, just because I was like having fun with it, and I'm like, oh, it would be very different in Spanish, so let me just flip it up in Spanish.
Yeah, how did it feel as an artist to kind of get that affirmation from like two super talented dudes who are like kind of making headway or have made headway like in the industry?
Yeah, I mean it's super exciting. It's just the fact that they listen, and like like they didn't have to comment anything super nice on it, but they did, and like thought it was dope. It's like it's really cool. I tend to be really critical of myself, and I feel like most artists, it's just a natural thing of an artist. Like you end up like criticizing yourself, and you're like, oh, this is not good enough. Like this sucks. Like it could be better. Like just because like there's so much music that you love growing up or that you love right now, and you're like, it's hard not to compare. Like, oh, like why does it sound like, why can't I get my sound to sound like I don't know, like as energetic as this or whatever.
What did you listen
but when it
to
comes to things
growing
like
up?
that,
What did you listen to growing up? Just out of curiosity.
oh man, I mean, my like I said, my taste in music is extremely varied. Like you could just start naming things. Like it goes from like hip hop, like Tupac, to like when I was growing up, like earlier Kanye, to like Kid Cudi. Like that's kind of like the hip hop stuff that I was listening to. Even like Eminem as well, like that kind of stuff. To like the Strokes, like I love the Strokes, and like Kings of Leon were like also my favorite bands. Hard. Sure. Yeah, to like one of my favorite biggest influences as well is Daft Punk. So that goes into the like more electronic funk stuff. Like I love Daft Punk. Like if we're talking even like earlier, like some like there's like some Spanish stuff, like Wisin y Yandel. It's like right. Yeah, so Wisin y Yandel is they're like reggaeton, but like old school reggaeton. They got like some big hits like Pom Pom Pom. Those are the Spanish songs. And I like oldies too. Like I don't know if like this is weird, but like I don't know if you're like doo-wop music.
Yo, doo-wop music is hard.
That bangs, man. Like that goes hard. That like it's like the melodies and the emotions are so incredible, and
the harmonies are like
ridiculous.
Butter.
Yes. Yeah. So I mean, yeah, doo-wop is great.
That's hilarious.
Yeah.
I'm not laughing at you. I just like the idea of just like listening to a song like Moments with You, and then like hearing the guy who made it say that he listened to doo-wop. It's like, man, it's like it's so hard to marry, but I think that's what's special, is that like most of what we soak up and apply is like subconscious.
Exactly. And there's nothing is like taste in music and you like absorbing different cultures is like the beautiful thing of the age that we live in. Like we have so much of the past to like that we can appreciate, right? Like so many shoulders that we can stand on, and like in different things that were created and different sounds, and you don't have to like stay to like what's going on right now. Like you can be inspired by things years ago from like different cultures and everywhere, and you can become yourself, like do your own thing, and subconsciously, like you said, like subconsciously you can just morph everything into, because you are part of your influences without like, even if I'm not like intentionally, I at least I don't think I intentionally like ever really try to make like any doo-wop sounding thing. Like there might be some melodies there that like were inspired by it, like I have no idea. And yeah, and don't get me started with like Spanish doo-wop. That's just,
I didn't even know that exists. Go on that rant, because I'm actually interested.
Dude, Los Panchos. I mean, it's more like baladas, which is like ballads, but they're like doo-wops. Some of them are like more kind of like have that style. Yeah, they're more, I would say like Spanish ballads, but around that time, there's other artists that were making like doo-wops, so it's kind of got that like old school vibe to it. One of my favorite artists is Los Panchos.
Los Panchos. I'm actually gonna write that.
Yeah. Hard.
Yeah,
I mean, and I would also listen to like Waka Flocka Flame, Gucci Mane, like Chief Keef, like also like,
right.
There's no like limits, why not?
So even because a lot of people mention that they have no limit to like the kind of music they listen to. So even like, so you bangs with country.
So see, that's the thing. Like, there's gonna be preferences, but I don't. They can be preferences.
Yeah.
So when it comes to country, like I don't. I have nothing against the genre itself, and I have nothing against like the culture at all. But there seems to be a lot of times where I've heard like things that that I'm just not like the same way that there's some doo-wop songs that I don't like those songs. It tends to be not be my preference, but there are some country song that I'm like, this is good. Like so in general, I feel like I have sometimes a lot of times with genres, it's like if I don't feel like I found something yet that I like that in that genre, that's like very emphasis on the yet. Like you just haven't
Mm.
heard something that like your earbuds or taste buds like like they tickle them in that genre, but like there would be possibility that you can really like some songs in that genre. Like there's like some older I forgot the name, this is like Nelly song with like the
Oh
country
yeah, one of the hardest
that goes
country
hard.
hip hop
That's
like.
country hip hop. That's country. I mean, and Lil Nas X, what he was doing, like, is smart.
Mhm.
It's not bad. Like, there's some country stuff. I'm not sure if like the Dolly Parton, like, is she like she's like super country, right? Or is she
Yeah,
also?
yeah, hella.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I fucks with some of her songs that I've heard before. So, and they
Word.
don't to me they don't sound that like there's some sounds that you hear like in some songs and they're like this specific singing like like in my truck like that kind of vibe that like you for sure. But then like Dolly Parton, I've heard some songs of hers. There's a particular song that I really like, I just don't remember the name, but like I like that song a lot. I
Darius
just don't remember the name.
Rucker, Darius Rucker dropped like a crazy album like with Jill Scott as like the co-producer. And that's just like an example of how like I mean good music is good music at the end of the day.
Yeah, good, exactly, good music is good music, and that's it.
Word.
That's all that matters.
So how would you we touched a little bit on this earlier, but how do you like define yourself as an artist? I know that's a broad question that like you get asked like in your double XL fucking cover interview, but like,
Yeah.
but yeah, how do you define yourself?
uh I'm just like as an artist, I feel like the most important thing to me is to, at least right now, is to like experiment and introspect on myself and my life.
Mm,
And like if anyone wants to follow me on the journey of like just, you know, not trying to limit yourself on anything, like in terms of sound and just like trying to escape. Um I mean that's kind of like how I define myself, because I decided to kind of like quit everything else to follow music, which is a lot of artists do. Um, and at the same time, when I was doing that, there wasn't anything defined. Like I
mm,
wasn't already like, oh, like I have like a deal, or I'm like big now, so I'm gonna quit. Although in the back of my head, I was like, when I was younger, I was like, okay, like I'm gonna try to do a music thing while I'm doing this stuff, and like if it works out, like I'll just leave everything else.
mm,
But at the same time, like growing up, it's like do you want to be doing two things at the same time where you can focus 100% on what you love and like be happy just doing that regardless of it like being like a success or not, like, or
mm,
are you going to be doing something else for money, and just to be maybe regret that you didn't do what you wanted to do. So
mm.
for me it's kind of like letting go and like exploring and introspect, like exploring myself and exploring the world, like in
Mm.
terms of sound and everything.
When did you know it was time to fully pursue music? Like when did that realization come?
It's a hard question because you never really know. Like I didn't know.
Mm,
I didn't know it was time. Maybe it wasn't, but I decided that like I wanted to do this. It was kind of like I was getting hella depressed. Maybe that's why I was dealing with like hella, which is I'm not growing up. I was always like I want to do this, but after a few years of just wanting, not having time, like that was my biggest thing. I'm always battling time. It's my biggest enemy. like
Mm.
just having enough time to do what I want. And I was like, you know, like I'm the culprit of that. Like I could be like prioritizing what I want to do.
Right.
It's just like me not doing that because of whatever, you know, outside like factors of like society or like what I'm expected to do,
Mm.
etc. So, you know, I was like, okay, I've done this for a while now, and I feel like I'm getting hell depressed, and if I care about myself, I want to be happy. I'm just gonna do this. So
Mm.
there were multiple times where I was just like hella sad, and that I was like, I'm gonna do it. It progressively happened because it wasn't happening until I I kept saying it, and I started telling people about like, oh, I'm gonna quit and like I'm gonna do these things. And then it's like when you start like vocalizing what you're gonna do, even if you're still like unsure, because I wasn't sure.
Mm.
I was like, but once you start vocalizing it, it starts becoming more of a reality. Like people are like, okay, like when, you know, it's like, oh shit, when, you know, it's like soon. And yeah, like once it happens, like you're off and like you're doing it. So
Yeah.
I think it's important to kind of not just tell yourself, like try to like put it on paper, try to like tell other people, like friends and stuff like that.
Because I think once you do that, then it's like not only are you accountable to yourself, but it's like you can't like you can't just look like a wuss. Like you gotta
Yeah.
you gotta like it's interesting the idea of like vocalizing it into reality, because it's like, oh man, eventually when you tell enough people that's what it is, then it's like, oh yeah, Augie's doing music. And it's like yeah, that's really interesting. Do you feel any kind of like pressure at all, like
Oh
and
yeah,
and
dude.
and like and like in that, it's like how do you deal with those moments of like self-doubt in a constructive way? Do you just put pen to paper, or is it a little less romantic than that?
It's a great question. In terms of the pressure, it's like something I'm dealing with still, and I'm trying to become better at. And when you ask me like to define myself as an artist, that's kind of what I was going to. Like, I'm by no means like, you know, and no one is like, and you see a lot of times like people online, like Instagram or artists, like they're like they might have like really sad songs and they stick to that sometimes. So like might have like really happy songs and they stick to that. Um, and you know, you'll see them like they look like they got a specific look and a specific world that they're in. When I was saying like introspecting into myself and exploring the world and exploring sounds, it's like I feel like people are just so, and this is true, like I definitely feel like people are just in general so complex and so the spectrum of this like what they like and what they feel every day and what they're going through and like, you know, how they look and everything, like it changes. It's not a particular thing. And yeah, like I'll make like happy songs, like I'll make like super really sad, like my song Worthless, it's like super sad.
Yeah.
uh and that was just, I was just like speaking from like the heart there. Like I was just, I
Mm.
mean, what that day I was just like got off work and I was just, I wanted to like do my stuff and I didn't have time, and I was just like, you know what, I'm just not gonna sleep tonight because I it was like really late, and I'm just gonna like put this beat I was working on and like just like spiel. um
Mm.
and for me it's like sorry, I'm going on like a bunch of different tangents, but what I was trying to say was
Go on all of the tangents. It's
yeah,
fine, man.
what I was just trying to say was with me as an artist, like if I'm happy, like I'm gonna make a very happy song, and even if it's corny, like a lot of times sometimes the lyrics I'm corny, like I don't care. I'm just gonna say that. I'm gonna say like some cute shit. I'm gonna say like some really weird shit, like some happy stuff. I'll make songs that I just like and feel, and like on my Instagram, for example, like I'll post like I might be feeling myself, and I might post something that I feel like I'm going out or something, I'm going good, or I might just post like I'm depressed as shit, like guys, I'm like I fucking hate my life right now.
Mm.
there's like a spectrum. I feel like when I spoken to other people in the music industry, like they care a lot about brand, and I get that. I get that a lot. I understand because it's like music is like a product, and like your look and your sound, like it matters. A lot of times when I tell people like I'm just making a bunch of stuff that I like, they're like, but like how are like fans gonna like know like like I like this type of songs, so like you're gonna make this type of song.
Right.
I feel like if you like some of my stuff, like if I made something like that, I'm probably gonna make stuff like that again because I like that stuff. So you just like keep following me in the journey because I might make something that mixes that with something else that you might love, or like I might make something else that you might like because you might just like the melodies. It's not generally a style. I feel like you just have to sometimes open your mind to like like just accepting what's out there.
Yeah. Do you think?
So
Oh, go on.
sorry.
No,
In
no,
terms of
no, no
pressure,
apologies. It's fine.
yeah, in terms of pressures, I was just gonna say like I'm dealing with that shit all the time, like right now, like before, always. Like that's why I said I have like big anxiety problems, like that I'm trying to like my demons that I'm trying to like get control of. And I'm probably gonna be more vocal about my music. Because I am vocal sometimes, but I feel like sometimes like I don't say enough. I might make some more long songs. Because I really there's nothing holding me back. I just haven't. But yeah, like the music itself, like the process of making music is like therapeutic to me. So when I'm making it, it kind of helps me. But I'm trying to like just also like tap into like just like I got this like aromatherapy thing here, and that I'm like smell is just nice. Like trying to be better at sleeping because I suck at sleeping. Like yeah, I have like big insomnia problems. And just because like I'm always working. And yeah, like I have no answer for you. Like that's like I figured it out
Yeah.
because I haven't figured out shit. Like
Yeah.
I'm just like everyone else that's like dealing with problems. Like I'm just figuring out the problems of life while I'm also pursuing music because that's what I want to do.
That's such an interesting balance that I don't think a lot of people talk about, because it's like in the same vein, it's like you it's like the music is one thing, and then it's like right afterwards it's like shit, life, man.
Yeah.
So it's like how is that intersection been, especially considering like mental health and music? Like what's that been like, especially considering we've kind of been locked up for a while? Like
Yeah.
has that had any effect on the kind of music you make or write, or like the kind of beats you produce?
It probably has, even though I feel like I can't tell. It probably has. Um, I've always been kind of a homebody. So even before quarantine, I was like, unless I had to go like work or I had to go somewhere, I always wanted to be at home and like make beats and make music. That's always what I want to do. Like I just want to be not even like watching stuff. Like I do enjoy watching stuff, like movies and stuff, but I kind of touched into this before. Like I kind of push myself a little too much. That's why I also have problems sleeping because I always feel like I don't do enough. And I feel like all the stuff that I'm mentioning is things like I know because I've spoken to other artists. Like it's not something I'm going alone. I might be a little more vocal about it than other people.
Yeah, no, I think even if it's like even if it's widespread, I think the personal feelings are still super legitimate.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So yeah, yeah. So I forgot what I was saying, but basically, basically, I completely forgot what we were
Yeah,
saying.
yeah. Okay, so you were saying you were talking to other artists about like kind of mental health, and it's like
Right,
yeah, other artists in the industry more vocal about it.
right. Yeah, I mean, and it's not just artists. Anyone like I just feel there's nothing wrong with really saying how you're feeling and the problems that you're dealing with, and telling people like, hey, I'm having a really tough time with life right now, and like, don't worry about me. I'm all right. Like, even if you're feeling all right, like if you're feeling even worse, then like, it's okay to say that you're feeling worse, and to be like, tell things. There's no need to like for embarrassment for anything, and that's something that I felt like is a lot better than like keeping things to yourself. And part of music is also like nice because you can just tell the world how you're
Mm.
feeling without having to worry about judgment. And I mean, it depends on the person, but like some people, even with their music, may worry about judgment. But like a lot of times when you're making music, it's like people that are listening, like truly listening, don't really know you.
Mm.
So like you have nothing to really fear. Like, and yeah, there's a lot I could talk about regarding that because I used to be anonymous. I used to not show my face at all. Part of it was because I
Oh.
was scared. I was scared of being
Get
like
into that.
out
Get
there.
into that a little bit. Like why were you scared? And how did you, I mean, here's your face. So
Yeah,
how did you kind of overcome it?
yeah. If you look at my last like only I've had a couple of interviews, but my last only like video interview before this one
Mm.
was with all this sorry, YouTube channel, All That For Real. And if you watch it, like, I'm wearing a helmet. I'm not like I wasn't showing my face back then.
Mm.
And I was inspired by like Daft Punk and a bunch of other folks that more like the EDM music, electronic music scene, because I also like electronic music, that were doing that kind of thing. I thought it was cool too, but like when I like really looked into myself, why do I want to even not even show my face? And part of it was just because like I mentioned, like my whole life I've kind of just led this two life of like my professional path and like going to college and like working and doing this thing. And a lot of people didn't really know about my music side. Like they just knew like I made music, and they were just like, okay, like he plays some type of instrument or something, and like that's it.
Mm.
Maybe those covers, but I didn't really know like I'm out here like you know making songs,
Grinding.
releasing them, like grinding, like trying to actually like make something out of it. And really that's actually what I want to do. Like a lot of people didn't know that, like um and I don't know, part of me just, I used to be really shy. I used to be like hella shy when I was younger, little.
Mm.
uh
And so it's just like all of those factors kind of compounded into like, okay, word, anonymous music.
I think so because
Oh, did you free? Oh, I think you might have froze. Okay, you definitely froze. Okay. We'll pause recording. And all right, yeah, I think we're back. So before it cut out for a little bit,
that's good. I'm back.
before it cut out for a little bit, you were talking about your face covering and
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah. So basically I was saying was like, um I'm not sure what was the last thing before it cut off, but I used to be really shy
yeah.
when I was younger. I used to be this like super nerdy, like little chubby dude. Um, I was super cute, but like this little chubby, like nerdy kid. Um, and yeah, like I don't know, like I would wear these like super baggy clothes, but like I had like the super like nerdy look, and like I would have like a rolling backpack with like a
Oh
little I would
man.
carry a suitcase too because I didn't want to lose my books, and I didn't want to put them in the locker. Yeah, this is straight up legit Auggie, little Auggie. Um, and I didn't get bullied, thank God. I don't know how I didn't get bullied, but kids were nice. Kids were hella nice. I had friends. I had like a good childhood. I wouldn't say I had a bad childhood, but I was definitely like a nerdy kid, and I was shy. I don't know, like I didn't get bullied, but I feel like even though I didn't get bullied, like I somehow maybe from things that I watched on TV, like from hearing other people, like I was a happy kid, but at the same time I was shy, and I didn't like how I looked, and like I was like I would always be like I was happy, but like everyone has like things. I was happy, but I was also, even as a kid, I was like sad sometimes. Like I would be like, oh, like I don't like how I look. Like why am I like this?
Yeah.
And that's probably what made me shy too. Like I just wasn't. I had friends, but like I didn't feel like I was like a cool kid. And like
And did you feel like you kind of needed time to come into yourself a little bit more before you were kind of ready to show the world? Is that semi accurate, sort of
yeah,
close to the mark?
yeah. I mean, semi, because so what I was talking about was like I used to be really shy, and
Yeah.
even growing up, like go fast forward when I'm like making my music and stuff. Um, like I've always later on I kind of became less shy, but I've always been like a introvert. So
Mm.
I consider myself still like somewhat introverted. Um, but I have no problem talking. Like if you see me like right now, like I'm talking, I'm just like I'm very talkative actually. Like I'm just keep going on tangents, and you can keep at like let me know when you want to ask the next question. But um, so I kind of have that balance of like I enjoy talking. Maybe it's because I'm a homebody and I don't get to talk. I'm introverted, but then when I'm doing things like these and I have like social interactions like with people,
Mm.
um, like I love it. I love it. I love talking to people. Like I do love social interaction. I'm just like a very homebody because I'm very calm and like just when I'm on my own making music. But at the same time, this is like an exercise for me,
Mm.
like talking to people and like like being active in media, like social media, and like talking to people in general.
Yeah.
But
Being around people is super taxing, I think. Just
yeah, it can be. It can be. Like it's a good balance though. Like I mean, it depends on who you are. It depends on the personality. For me, I've noticed that like I am definitely a homebody. I'm like introverted in general, but when I'm around people and like I want to be like talking, I kind of turn into extroverted and I'm just like talking and like I'm enjoying the moment.
mm.
But then when I get home, I'm like I don't want to see anyone. Like I want to be home. Like, I mean, I guess that's normal. Um, sorry. And you said no apologies. My bad.
Yeah, yeah,
So
don't.
going, I say sorry a lot. Yeah, that's true. So going back to your question about the mask, the anonymous stuff. In short, without going into tangents, I just like I've always been critical of myself. I just didn't
Mm.
feel like I was ready. I also didn't feel like I looked the part of like being like the music that I was making, or like the artist that I wanted to be.
Mhm.
So I was like, just being self-critical and being like what I shouldn't be, what I should like, what I'm trying to say now, and what I'm trying to at least, and I'm still dealing with, which is normal,
Yeah.
is like accept yourself. Like, and a lot of other people are doing a good job at saying that now because it used to not be like that. Like older music and older like music industry stuff and like TV and like magazines when they were back then when they were like a thing,
Mhm.
like magazines. People look perfect and people look like they know what the hell they're doing and they know like they have a look or they have a specific sound. Um, I didn't feel like I had a look or a specific sound or if I like fit anything and like I mean a lot of kids probably felt like that, probably feel like
Mm.
that, and it's and having those thoughts doesn't make you any less. It just means that you just haven't taken the step to say, like I am who I am and this is me, and like people are gonna like who you are because that's who you are, like authentically are, and that's what I'm trying to do now. I'm just trying to like
Mhm.
reveal my face, be me, and if I'm not feeling it, like it's cool. Like some other people might be feeling it, and I'm glad if they do.
Yeah. No, I think it's really healthy to like remind ourselves that it's like okay to feel unsure and even like negative about yourself. It's normal.
It's
But
normal.
then it's like creating positive steps and like doing stuff in the right direction, which like for example telling your friends that like, oh, I'm gonna quit and do music, like I think taking like those steps in the right direction is necessary. um so talk a little bit about like the process. You talked a little bit about it in the beginning, but like White Bronco is like all T,
Yeah.
like And then like Down With Me, which is super cool because some of the proceeds of that went to social
Yes.
justice orgs. So
Yes.
talk about that a little bit. Like why did you feel like that was important to do, like given the moment that we're going through as a country?
Well, yeah, I mean, in general, like I, for example, um, I'm Hispanic, so I identify a lot with like just in general, like being a minority and knowing that there are like there are these problems out there of like like systemic like abuse of power and like all these all these things in the world that like racism and like things that shouldn't be a thing in like not just our country, like in the world.
Mm-hmm.
These are real problems and real things that like so I've never before with like my music have like made something so important of like actually giving back and doing anything like that. I thought it was like I should definitely be doing something like that. And like um that song I had was gonna get released anyways because it was already like it had been like put for that day, and I like it was really hard for me to take it if I wanted to take it down. And I
Mm-hmm.
thought like what better way than like to give back by like
Mm.
making like the royalties of the nations, or if anyone that got it from Bandcamp, like if they purchased it, like giving that to like the organizations.
That's awesome.
um yeah, I just like I don't care for any like fans that are like racist or that have like any thoughts of like anyone being anyone like better than anyone else. Like I like
Mm-hmm.
sometimes just I'm like
Just real quick, let me just say while we're at this part of the interview, if you are a racist, feel free to exit the video.
yo,
All
please,
right, yeah,
please,
do us both the favor. All right, as you were.
yes. So that I mean sometimes I have like a hard time like really processing my words because I'm trying to think like
It's
but
perfect, and I'm patient. We got
yeah,
time. We're all
so
good.
but without filter, like I just want to say like with all this shit that's going on, like I just don't fuck with it. That's it. Like for lack of a better term, I just don't fuck with all this stuff that just like it just isn't right. Like there's no, I just don't understand how anyone can possibly say like yeah, like someone gets treated wrongly for something that they have no control over, just nature, and just and then they're like yeah, like that's cool. What, like that just makes no sense to me. I don't know. Like, it really does make sense to me. So so basically, I mean, for lack of better words, I just don't mess with that. So I want to help in any way I can. And like, there's been artists that reach out to me like with their videos of like doing a much better job than me at informing, because they live through these things and like they know more. So I'm trying to use my platform to like like post their videos or like
Mm.
show like different things that I see. Yeah, like even now, like as I know, I've seen things like kind of like not be as prominent anymore on social media, which is kind of sad. But
Yeah,
yeah, like
it's
I'm
weird
glad when I
how
see. Yeah,
it's weird how trendy it was. Like people just kind of took protest pics and were like, "Peace."
yeah. It's like the sad thing about it is like it's like it shouldn't be a trend. Like it's not like a cool thing. It's like a right
Yeah.
thing. It's like an important thing.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah. Yeah.
Just on the topic of race, and earlier we spoke a little bit about image and kind of like seeing yourself in the industry. So particularly as like a brown boy and kind of seeing in kind of like seeing now it's like there's a shift taking place where it's like there's a lot more brown people in music
Yeah.
and like that are really doing their thing. What was that journey like? Kind of like finding yourself within what seems to like a surface listener to music, what seems to be like a void.
So I'm not sure if I understand completely the question. So like, how did I find myself as like a Latino, or
Yeah,
like,
exactly. Yeah, my bad. I should specify which Brown I'm talking about. Apologies. Apologies. Yeah, as a Latino.
yeah, I just wasn't sure. Like, but you mean like how I identify myself as a Latino in the music industry, like
Yeah,
how?
like yeah, like what was it? Yeah, yeah. Boom. I think that's a perfect question. I'm gonna
Yeah, I
re-ask
mean,
that and then cut that part out at the end. So I'm gonna re-ask the question, but I'm
no
gonna take
problem.
the question
Go ahead.
that yeah. So all right, word. So yeah, kind of being Latino in an industry where it could be argued that Latinos are kind of underrepresented. I mean, we're starting to see that shift now.
Yeah.
What was that journey like?
Well, I've been fortunate enough to like haven't had that much experience yet where I felt like I wasn't getting um, appropriately represented myself. Like I
Oh,
was
word.
getting not the opportunities that I should have gotten because of my background or anything like that. But I
Mhm.
know other people have had those problems, and I respect and am like honored by their, um, and I'm how do you say, like, I really appreciate like all that they're doing because now like things have been changing and there's more diversity and people are more of like taken into account when they're more held accountable for like when there's anything that's not done right in terms of like misrepresentation or
Mhm.
um like just not providing the same opportunities to just everyone,
Yeah,
or
word.
anyone. So I haven't had the experience myself, or at least I haven't noticed. But when it comes to like myself as a Latino in the industry, I feel like I want to be more vocal about my culture in my music too. Like,
Mm.
uh, and 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 I'm Peruvian, so I'm specifically from a particular country, and I would love to like show some love to my fellow Peruvians out there, and like represent for sure because there's not many of us that like are like just internationally, or like in the US getting love, a
Mhm.
lot of love at least. So I would love to be more supportive and representative of my primary my culture. I'm also like definitely identify as American because I grew up in America.
Mhm.
um so it's a weird balance because like I definitely have, growing up, I have like this very like Peruvian, Latino culture. I speak Spanish like with my parents and stuff.
Mhm.
But at the same time, like, I went to school here and like I all the culture and things and like the memes and everything, like I identify with like
Mhm.
just like here. Um so I feel like when you see me or you see it, I feel like I would hope there's like there is definitely like the respect and the love for any culture out there for
Absolutely.
whatever it is, whether it's like just anyone from anywhere in the world. But at the same time, like I feel like if an artist, like I feel like people should love an artist. Oh, I mean, I'm not should, but like it should be okay for an artist to also just be themselves and be whatever they identify with. Like,
I absolutely 100%,
yeah,
1000% agree with you.
yeah,
Because I think once, like, if a particular artist doesn't necessarily like another artist I interviewed was talking about how he doesn't feel like it's necessarily his place to talk about like culture, his culture, because he's a child of immigrants too. He doesn't feel like it's his place, or he doesn't really feel like it's necessary.
right. So yeah, like everyone has their own story and their own experiences.
Absolutely.
And regardless of where they come from, everyone should be respected and loved for who they are. That's it.
Facts. Beautifully put. I want to talk about the wave catch for a little
Oh
bit,
yeah, yeah, let's
because
do it.
I'm not too hip to the movement, but I want to be. So tell me a little bit about your connection to that.
Yeah, so I run the wave cache.
Oh,
Actually, yeah.
hard. So
Yeah,
what is it?
yeah. So the wave cache started as a like just music channel that there are songs that I liked on all over the internet. Like some of them were on just on SoundCloud, some of them were just like on like other websites that I would find, or like um I'm always browsing for music,
Mm,
and I would find like these little different cliques of like different cultures of music out there. At the same time, I'm always trying to like push what I like, and like I hope to see it grow, and also like push my own music, obviously, because I'm an artist, right, as well.
yeah.
So on a whim one day, I was like, like I should make another like page where like, because I see a bunch of other people, like they're posting music that they like on YouTube and things like that. So let me just start a thing with like me like me trying to look for the next different waves. And by waves I mean like there's different scenes of music out there, like whatever it is. And so back in 2017, so that's 3 years from now, like that's actually when the idea came out. And like the emo rap kind of like that style was becoming solidifying a little bit. It wasn't like Low Peep and like Juice World and like that kind of scene, like all the other guys
Hmm.
that I'm not mentioning right now, but like they like even smaller, like underground, they were like starting to like like get some little momentum. And I saw like all these other dudes like doing like and dudettes, just like everyone doing like this kind of song. And emo rap wasn't even like a term.
Hmm.
I just noted, like, imagine not knowing what it is, but like you keep hearing like out there, like there's just something about this that sounds like similar to this one, and this one sounds similar to this one. There's something about here, like I hear like it's like sad rap, like hip hop, like wavy hip hop, like because it's
Yeah.
like I saw people saying like, oh, this is wavy, So I was just like, okay. So I thought like the wave also came from that too. It was like a double thing, because I was like, oh, like next wave, but also like wavy music. So it started with that. Like I was like, oh, I love all this like emo hip hop stuff that's coming out. I didn't have a term back then, but yeah. And just started posting like stuff, and started like connecting with artists and asking them like, kind of like I love your music, and I post your music, and they were like, oh hell yeah, like thank you.
Hmm.
So like I started like making like forums to like get copyright permission and things like that, like trying to learn how all that works. And over the past few years, like it grew a little bit. I wouldn't say it's big, but like it grew a little bit. And like it's kind of like also like a record label thing now too, because I've been learning how that works, and I've been
Oh,
supporting some
word.
of the artists that I support. Like I've been helping them with like how like, because these are things that I've learned with my path, and just but not everyone has the opportunity or the time. They just want to
Hmm.
focus on music, and they don't want to worry about all this other stuff like that's out there, that you have to like worry about royalties and worry about, like, because there's so much. It's crazy. There's like so many like things out there in terms of like the rights that artists have and the things that they don't know.
Hmm.
So I try to help with that. So I'm like, okay, like I'll help you with all this stuff, like distribution and all these things too, like if you don't want to worry about it. So and I'll do promotion, because I do that anyways. I love, if I love the music, I'm gonna help you
Hmm.
regardless. So yeah, I just been growing that. So I release all my music now under my own label called the Wave Cash. And thank you. So yeah, so I'm like independently have a label that I'm doing my own releases on. And yeah, it's also a music channel. And I mean, I'm doing a bunch of other things with it. It's just like a brand that's been growing. And yeah, it's like the same with me as Auggie Velarde. It really doesn't have any. I don't. I'm saying this a lot. Like I don't really like to put limits on things. Like if there's an option out there, opportunity, that seems cool to me. And I'm like, I mean, we can try it, see how things go. Like I don't. There's a balance to that though. Like there's obviously things that like aren't right, so you shouldn't do them.
Right.
So, yeah.
Well, he does it all, folks, and you heard it here first. He runs a label. He's a singer-songwriter and a rapper, and he makes beats, and he's influenced by doo-wop music, Auggie Velarde. So
Yeah, hard.
uh, I wanted to. So at the end of each show, I always give my guests the opportunity to plug themselves. And if you have a Cash App or a Venmo or something that I could drop in the description of the video,
Oh yeah,
just in
for
case your
sure.
fans want to make a donation,
Oh yeah,
then
I mean, if anyone wants to send me anything, you can send me 1 cent and a little note saying like "I love you," and that's like that's love right there. I love anything. Yeah, I mean it's dope. Yeah, I mean all of my social media stuff, all of my even my Cash App, like it's Auggie Velarde. It's AuggieVelarde. So it's like my name. And yeah, I've had so far no issues with like someone else having taken it.
mm,
I'm really fast and like at least for now. I mean, I hope I didn't jinx it, but like in all the platforms out there, I have the name, so you'll find me with that name for everything.
right on. Well, thank you so much for coming on the show.
Thank you so much
Absolutely.
for having me here. I really appreciate it.